We're going to start off the workout with a dynamic warm-up, and the object is just to get warmed up by getting a little blood flow, get the body temperature up, which already isn't a very big problem because it's 110 outside. We're going to start off with just a dynamic warm-up, then we start off the exercises with lighter weights than we're actually going to use for the work set. So you go from a kind of a general warm-up to a more specific one. Today's workout consists of deadlifts, dumbbell rows supersetted with metal rows, weighted wide grip pull-ups, a circuit of straight arm pull downs and lat pull downs, and back raises.
Okay, the key here is you watch Branch is, you know, even though he's a top level athlete, we have to have, it's really important to get a good warm up. And this is started after performing a dynamic warm up. Here we see Branch warming up. We have a little more weight in the bar. The key here, again, is perfect technique. He wants to pull the weight explosively. You know, a lot of times people will stereotype bodybuilding training as all slow, peak contraction type movements, but we're training more of a power building style. So, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. On the core lift, for the back here, the deadlift, we're performing these as explosively as possible. This is Branch's heaviest set of the day here on the regular deadlift, and you watch him. I mean, before the Arnold, he never even went up to 400. The heaviest he ever went was 400 pounds, so we're using more weight here. And you see, because we've been practicing good technique, he's really dialed in. I mean, he absolutely manhandled the weight here. Now you watch Branch. We're doing partial deadlifts off the block. So the bar is actually elevated about 12 inches off the ground, higher than it normally would be. And generally, you know, the old expression says, full range of motion for full development here. But there's certainly a time and a place for everything. We're able to handle much heavier weights here, and typically this has been an exercise used by powerlifters trying to like work through a sticking point, but it's actually great for bodybuilders. I mean, it's a great way to develop the upper back here. Watch Branch here again. He really accentuates the lockout. The key here is getting that lockout. You know, we talked about this is explosive training, not so-called peak contraction training, but in this particular exercise is really important to make sure you're fully locked out. Okay, look at Branch here working out. He's working out with 455 pounds. Again, this is more weight than he ever used before the Arnold. Look how fast that flies up. What's happening here, it's sort of like a reverse pyramid style of training, if you will, meaning we did the heavier weights first, because a traditional pyramid, you're going to work your way up. With the reverse pyramid, what we're doing is going backwards, so that we kind of built the base of the pyramid first. Now we're working back, and we peaked out. Now we're working back down. So literally the bar just feels like it's flying up because he's already handled the heavier weights. Here's Branch performing a Meadows row. He's gonna be supersetting that with a dumbbell row. And the key here is, if you watch him, instead of totally jerking the weight up and shortening the range of motion, he's fully stretching his lat out here. I mean, for this exercise, it's definitely one of the old expression holds true of full range of motion with full development. And watch him right here. A lot of guys will do the rows with 50, 100 more pounds than this, but they're only going halfway. Branch is getting way more by using the full range of motion and really stretching that lower lat. Again, just by watching Branch doing this power building style of training with the explosive heavy deadlifts, getting the full range of motion here. I mean, you've seen, since from a few weeks ago, his body's already starting to morph into something amazing. Here we go with Branch doing wide grip pull-ups. This is one of the best ways to develop width on your back. And This would be impressive for a 170-pound man just doing it with his own body weight, let alone a 270-pound man with a 30-pound chain around his neck. I mean, look at, you can already see his lats. Even just doing this for a few weeks, you can already see the development on his lats right there. Here we go with Branch again. Look, every rep he's getting a dead hang at the bottom. You know, it's hard for him to get much higher because he's so muscular. But you watch him at the bottom, he's getting that full stretch every time. If you want to really develop the width of your lats, you need to get that full stretch at the bottom. You watch Branch right there toward the end. You know, he's not getting the full range of motion. That's okay. We're just going for as many reps as possible right there. So it's not like, say for instance, like, you know, certain movements where you're gonna get hurt if you're not getting like the full range of motion. Say like if you're squatting, for instance, and your knees start caving in, you're leaning way forward, you're gonna get hurt. You know, as long as you're maintaining decent form on the pull-up, you're getting those extra cheat reps. That's gonna spark extra growth. Even though Branch took 30 pounds off him, we're using that reverse pyramid style. It's almost like he's taking 100 pounds off him by taking that chain off him. Okay, right here, watch Branch. He's doing a circuit here. He's doing the straight arm pull downs. Those are supersetted with wide grip lat pull downs and seated rows. We're doing these in a slow, methodical style. So again, we talked earlier about doing the deadlifts explosively. Here we're doing more of a slow and controlled style, really trying to feel the movement. You hear bodybuilders and like books and stuff talk about shaping exercises, if you will. You know, this is more of like a so-called shaping type circuit right here. He's gonna go, you know, every time I yell go, he does 3 repetitions. He's gonna keep that up for a minute, then move on to the next circuit. So the key here is really making the repetitions strict and maximizing time under tension, one of the key variables in muscle growth. Again, look at Branch right here doing wide grip lat pull downs. The point, you want to try to make these as strict as possible. At this point, he's pretty fatigued because he's already done seated rows and straight arm pull downs, so he's making his best effort to keep these as strict as possible. Again, every time I go, he does 3 repetitions, and he's getting, look at the top, he's getting that good stretch, and that's the whole point here. Strict reps, getting full range of motion, and getting a good stretch, and maximizing time under tension. Okay, these back extensions right here, this is the key here. Is he's doing it on a glute ham raise, but the key here is you want to have your belly on the pad versus your thighs on the pad right there. And it's a pretty short range of motion. It's really going to hit your mid and lower back, very similar to what a deadlift does, but the difference is instead you don't get as much engagement from the glutes and the hamstrings with this. It's more of an isolation movement, if you will. You're trying to bring up a weak lower back, you know, strength-wise, or you're trying to build it up from a bodybuilding standpoint. Either way, this is a very effective exercise that's rarely used. Okay, right here, Branch is using 135 pounds on this, or actually 155 pounds, excuse me. That's a safety bar on there. That's a ton of weight on this exercise. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but he's not using, you know, a bunch of different muscles to assist him. I mean, that's really hitting his lower back. Here's Branch in the same movement with 205 pounds. I mean, this is like off the chart strong right here. And by the end, he's not getting that full range of motion. That's why we're getting him to stop right here. But even moving it just a couple times through that range of motion, I mean, that's amazing lower back strength. And, you know, that's what's bringing him this, you know, amazing package to the Olympia here. And is not only the deadlifts, but this movement right here.